Welcome to Lisa Marie's Cooking Live. We are going to bake cake. And I can tell you that most of the time when it comes to baking a cake, you get a little nervous. You think it's just not going to come out right. And how can I make a really good cake? Well, I'm going to show you how to prepare a really delicious cake that's pretty easy and simple to put together. So thank you for joining the broadcast. It's a Sunday morning and I am so thankful. If you are not taking your children to church on Sunday morning, get your children to church. Let them learn about the Lord. Every day is a day that the Lord has made, and believe it or not, these are some of the values that your family will have and keep dear to their heart all of their life. So remember to always keep God first. Hi Pam, hi Monique, thanks for joining. We are going to bake cake, and it's a pretty simple cake. I'm going to do a vanilla cake. I'll use some fresh lemon zest and put some vanilla in it, of course, and I'll show you just how you can make it super moist, tasty, delicious every single time, hands down. So let's go ahead and get started. In a minute, my phone is probably going to ring because my son will be getting home. Today, him and his friends decided to do the dress up. Hey Macy, thanks for joining, cousin. Took some pictures. I thought it was a stellar moment. Sometimes they do that. They get together and dress up. Some of his friends dress up all the time, but he just decided to put a little Rico Suave on his dress up, like I told you. There it is. Anyway, what I like to do is show you what I'm going to do first. How are you doing, Macy? I love that smoothie bowl that you did. Macy does a lot of raw, natural eating, and she made a smoothie bowl the other day with some kiwi decorated really pretty and some coconut shavings on it. It was looking good. As a matter of fact, I looked at it the other day again, Macy. Hi, Elaine. Thanks for joining. You know, I can tell you that when I was growing up, some of the best cake I ever had was a cake from scratch that my grandmother would throw together, and it would come out perfect every time. And the cake that I'm going to do today has some of the same techniques that my grandmother used to make some absolutely delicious cakes, and I'm sharing it with you. So we want to go ahead and get started. Don't forget to invite others to come over and watch the broadcast. You can make this cake and share it with your family tomorrow, or bring it over when you have that invite, something nice and surprising for your guests. Or, you know, everybody wants you to bring something good and delicious, and it's all the ooh and ah and what did you bring? What did you bring? Well, bring this cake or surprise your family with this cake. It's a Sunday. We're going to have the cake today. If there's any leftovers, we'll enjoy it tomorrow. Internet is not working well today. Aw. Oh well. Sorry about that for you, Pam. But butter is definitely a component of it. Eggs. You want to have butter and eggs when you make a cake. You've got to have that. And I like to use cake flour. If you don't have cake flour, it's okay. You can still make a good cake. But you'll just have to make sure you sift your flour a few times to lighten it up a little bit and make you a really delicious, yummy cake too. So let's get started with making our cake. If you have not subscribed to Live, you want to look in your upper right hand corner. If you hover over this little spot, you may see a live subscribe button, and make sure to like the video. When you like the video, that helps our ratings to go up. And the like button may be over here or there. I don't know where it is, but like the video, share the video, tell everybody about it. Tell them to come over and watch Lisa Marie Cooking Live here in my kitchen. And hopefully I can help you become a better cook in your kitchen and not be so intimidated when it comes to something like baking. So let's get started. Cake flour. Yes, you can buy cake flour at your local grocer, and it'll say cake flour on it. It's usually by all of the all-purpose flour. You can get it in different types of containers. Mine comes in a red box, but buy whatever kind of cake flour is out there. So let's get started. All right, the first thing that I am going to do, I actually had to make some buttermilk because y'all know I don't necessarily have to have buttermilk here. All I did was take a cup of milk and added the juice of 1 whole lemon. It was a pretty big lemon. You want to have at least 3 tablespoons of lemon when you do your buttermilk. Hi. Say hi.
Hi.
Say hi. Hi.
I'm sorry.
Say hi. Hi. I might let them have a piece of cake if they're good.
So what is this cake for exactly?
Just because I feel like making cake. Do you have to have a reason for cake?
Yes.
What's the reason?
I don't know.
How about I want to eat cake?
That's a good reason.
That's a good cake? That's a good reason? Well, let's make some cake. All right, so the first thing that I'm going to do is I am going to sift my cake flour. So I have 2 cups of cake flour and 1/4 cup. So that's 2 1/4 cups of cake flour. Elaine said, hi, boys. And when you sift your flour, you basically need a sieve like this, a mesh strainer. And I am basically going to just take my cake flour and put it here and shake, shake, shake. And then you'll see, look, I'm sifting my cake flour this way. You can use a sifter. Most people may not have a sifter in their house, but I have a sifter, but I'm just going to show you what it's like if you use a sieve. And you can also do this. It's another little technique you can use. So let's put the cake flour in here. I do it a little bit at a time because this is not a large sieve. I'm not using a large bowl. No streaming. All right, this goes here. Now, I'm going to put this on the side so my flour will already be sifted and ready to add into my cake mix. Who makes cakes at home? Another thing that you could do if you're not really the scratch cake person, you can always use a box cake. I like box cakes too. They're great in a hurry. But what you can do is you can add an egg, some buttermilk to a box cake. And you can substitute butter instead of oil. But oil is not a bad thing in cakes. We're going to use some oil today, as a matter of fact. All right, so I have 2 1/4 cups of cake flour that I've already sifted. I'll put that on the side. The next thing I want to do is in here, we're going to cream together all of our oils and butter and sugar. So I have a stick of salted sweet cream butter. That's a 1/2 cup. And that's what I'm going to be using. Let me see. You see that butter that's left on here? I'm just going to do this to scrape it off of here. I don't like to waste any butter. All right. I'm also going to use, so that's a 1/2 cup of salted butter, salted sweet cream, a vegetable oil. And I'm going to use a 1.5 cups. You can do a 1 3/4 cups of granulated white sugar. And what we will do is put that here in our mixer. And we're going to mix that together. We just want to combine all of these ingredients together, just until they're creamed well. So that's pretty easy so far, right? Hi, Gwen. Thanks for joining. So we have this. If you want to write the recipe down, you can, because I won't be posting it. You need 2 1/4 cups of cake flour. You'll need 1/2 cup of salted butter. You need a 1/2 cup of vegetable oil. And then you will also need 1 3/4 cup of sugar. You can use 1 1/2 cups of sugar. Sugar is pretty forgiving in a cake if you want to cut back on the sugar a little bit. But so far, those are the ingredients that we have. Hi, Kurt. Thanks for joining. Now, as I say all the ingredients, you want to make sure you write it down. Keep up with the steps. But remember, it's really pretty simple and easy. Okay, so now our butter, oil, and our sugar is creamed together well. So we're going to turn that off. Okay. You can do that 3 to 5 minutes if you want to. Definitely 3 to 5 minutes is a good time. Depends on if you have like a super fine sugar or not. All right, so now what we're going to do is I have my buttermilk. I basically made my own buttermilk. Again, a cup of milk and the juice of 1 lemon, or at least 3 tablespoons of lemon juice. You can use vinegar if you don't have lemon. So I am going to stir this together. I'll show you how creamy my buttermilk is. Look at that. Nice thick buttermilk. And I also have 1 teaspoon of baking soda. Baking soda. 1 teaspoon of baking soda. What kind of cake am I making? I am making a vanilla cake. Your internet is bad too? Oh, sorry y'all having bad internet. I have a pretty good one. That might be because everybody's on the internet today. So what I'm going to do is add my baking soda into my buttermilk. Just combine that just like this.
Oh wow, you gave me a hand to the face. Oh.
Yeah.
So, wow.
Bye, Israel.
Why are you looking at me like that? Say it with some excitement. Like how you do with cooking. I'm so excited.
Excited? I'll be glad when he just like do the EXIT so I can finish doing the stream. Okay, let's see here. All right, so look at that. Look how it's rising here. And with all this rising, it's going to make my cake light and fluffy. Light and fluffy. All right, so what we're going to do is, what I like to do at this point is, easy, easy, easy. Oops. I like to pour this in here. And I am going to also put in my flour. Let me get a spoon, y'all. I'm going to put my flour in here, and I'm going to stir this together. It's strange, right? I like to do it this way, to lightly stir, because I like to keep everything on the light and fluffy side. I don't want to overbeat my ingredients. So we're just going to stir this together like so. It's easy so far, right? Hi, Kim. Thanks for joining. Oh, sorry we have a bad connection today. All right, so I've got this mixed all well together. There it is. It's all mixed together. Now what I'm going to do is I have 5 egg whites. And you want your egg whites to be at room temperature. I am going to beat my egg whites. They'll fluff a lot better when it's at room temperature rather than being cold out of the fridge. This is going to help our cake to be, thank you so much, Kim. This is going to help our cake to be light and fluffy as well. And we're just going to take this and, first of all, I'm not one of those amazing bakers that will use a whisk and fluff the egg whites like that. That is not me. I love, love, love my beaters. Love my beaters. Okay, let's see here. Who loves homemade cake? Homemade cake from scratch. This takes a couple of minutes. I'm also going to show you how to do a strawberry filling. I didn't have any strawberry jam or any raspberry jam, so I decided that I was going to make my own little strawberry preserves to go in the middle of my cake. Get that all nice and fluffy. You like homemade cake, Elaine? I know you do, because my Aunt Mary, baby, she could make some cake. The best cakes. Those sisters, I'm telling you, I have been infected. It's all in the genes. I'm going to put some lemon zest in here too. This is almost done, y'all. I mean, soft peaks are good. You just want to make sure that it does not come out of your bowl. That's an indication that your egg whites are fluffed nice. I like making cakes, but not a cake eater. My favorite one to make is pink lemonade. I use lemon zest in it. Ooh, yum. Well, I like to use lemon zest when I bake cakes is because it gives them a fresh addition. Where is my lemon zest? What I did is I have the zest of 1 lemon, and I'm going to just put that here in my, fold it into my egg whites, or just put it in my egg whites. And then I'm going to take that, and I am going to just fold it into my cake batter. Now remember when my brother did that on the spaghetti squash? He said that's a New Orleans thing. So remember, I did not overbeat my cake. I basically did my oil, my butter, and my sugar in there. And then I added my flour and buttermilk, and I just stirred it together so it's not overbeaten, overmixed. And now I'm going to fold in my egg whites. And this is going to keep my batter light and fluffy. Y'all, I forgot to put my vanilla in. It's okay, I'm going to put my vanilla in right now. It's okay because we're folding everything in. So I'm going to put about a teaspoon, 2 teaspoons of vanilla. All right, and now we're going to just fold all of our ingredients together. But you can put your vanilla in the beginning when you're doing your creaming your butter and your sugar and your oil. You could put it when you add your buttermilk. You can do it then, or you can do it just like I did it, as long as the vanilla gets in there. And remember, we're just keeping everything light and fluffy, and we're folding it in. So here we've got a really good, yummy, delicious cake batter. It's going to be delicious. All right, let me show you what else I'm doing. And when you take your eggs and separate them, save your egg yolks. You can use this when you make homemade ice cream like I like to do, or custard, or pudding. Save the egg yolks. Or you can use it when you get ready to do a yellow cake. Yellow cakes, you might need to have like about 8 egg yolks. And so this is 5, and I'll just write on here 5 egg yolks and put it in my freezer. And it can stay in my freezer for about 3 months. So now what we're gonna do is I want to show you what I do to cut out my cake rounds. So if you don't have round parchment paper, I like to put a piece of parchment paper in the bottom of my baking pans. I just take a pencil, put my pan right on top of my parchment paper, and I measure out a circle. Let's make sure I have this right. And then what I'm going to do is cut it out. Get some scissors, and you just go along the line, cut your little circle out. And it'll be the perfect circle for your pan. I don't know what circle I'm following now. Let's see. And you put that in your pan. You now turn it over. This is the pencil marks on this side. Just turn it over and stick it in your pan. You've got the perfect circle for your pan. So now I have some nonstick spray. What I'm going to do with that is just spray the bottom of my pan. And I'm going to put me a piece of parchment paper down in the bottom. And when you do that and you take your cake out, you can just pull this off the bottom of your cake, and it'll come out of the pan a lot easier too. And you don't have to worry about your cake sticking to the bottom of the pan when you do this. I don't throw this piece away either. What I do basically is just cut those little tips off. And I will use this sometimes to like line my cake pans around here. Or I'll use a couple of these when I'm baking something that doesn't require as much parchment paper. But the rest is garbage. Okay, so now I like to use butter. So I'm going to take some butter, and we are going to put butter around our pan. This is what we used to do old school. Just take the butter like this and put the butter in the pan. Just go around. It's like soft room temperature butter. Okay. And then once we get some in there, and I'm going to do that on the other pan as well. I have two 8-inch round pans. I'm going to put some butter on that parchment paper too. Okay, so now I've got butter around my pan. I'm just going to take my finger and just wipe the butter on good. This is going to keep your cake, the sides of your cake, soft. And then just put it all on the bottom. Because even though we have the parchment paper in there, we still want to make sure there's butter on there. You can use, you can spray it if you want to, or use Crisco oil. But you just want to make sure you have butter everywhere. Same thing here. We're going to just make sure there's butter everywhere. I love a little butter in my cake. Maybe I like a lot of butter in my cake. And I'm using an unsalted butter to do this. So everything is got butter on it. That's it. Okay. Let me wipe my hands. Now what we're going to do is we will take some flour and put some flour in our pan. So I'm going to put flour in this pan, and then whatever's left, I'm going to dump it in the other pan. I just used like 1/4 cup of flour. And I will take you over here to my sink where I usually dust my pans with flour. Come on over. Let's see. I like to do it here in the sink so that if there's any flour, which there will be, that gets all over everything, it won't be, you know, so you just kind of like turn it around like this to make sure it's on. You want to coat your pan well with the flour. And then I just take the excess, put it in my other pan, and then what I do is I do this to make sure I get all the excess flour off. And then same thing here. Just go around your pan. Make sure it's all on the bottom. Turn it upside down. Make sure you get all the excess off. And then you can just rinse all this flour right out of the sink. Easy cleanup. I love easy cleanup. Okay, so now let's take our pans back over here. And what we're going to do now is put our cake in our pan. So I eyeball it. Some people actually measure it. I'm not that concerned about measuring perfect amounts. So I'm going to pour a little bit in here. And then I'll pour a little bit in here and see where I am. It'll look a little lumpy. Your batter will look a little bit lumpy, but that's okay. That's because we folded our egg whites in there. Let me get one of my spatulas, y'all. I want to get all of this off of my spoon, all of the cake mix. I don't like to leave anything behind. Just scrape my cake mix off of that spoon. I scrape all the sides of my pan. You got to make sure you get everything off. This is good cake. And I am going to put some in the pan. A little bit in that pan. And I'll put a little bit in this pan. Get it off the spoon. All your reserves, all of your reserves. And then what I do is, I just slap the cake down because, believe it or not, I don't know if y'all can see this, but let me put it down a little bit more. When you slam the cake down, you can see like little air bubbles will come up. See? Look at that right there. All right. There, you get all the air bubbles out of there. You don't want the air bubbles in there. I like to take the air bubbles out. Hi, Kay. Thanks for joining. All right, so now what I do is I actually have my oven preset to 325 degrees. I also like to put my cakes on a flat pan. You can put them in straight on the oven rack if you want to, but I just put mine on a pan like this. I put it on a flat pan when I bake mine in the oven. Let's put that in the oven. 325 degrees for about 25 to 30 minutes. Now I'm going to take you over to the sink so you can, to the stove. We are going to make some strawberry filling for our cake. Let's do that. All right, so over here what I have, hi Emily, thanks for joining. So I had some frozen strawberries. I just took them out. A lot of times when I buy strawberries, I buy a whole lot. I'll cut them up and put them in the freezer. I can use them in smoothies, all kinds of things. But today I'm going to use them to make just a strawberry filling for my cake. So this is about, let's see, this is probably about at least a good cup and a half of strawberries. And I have 1 cup of sugar. Let me see if you can see that good. I have 1 cup of sugar and I have some lemon peels. I peeled some of the zest off of my lemon, so I'm going to put that in here. And I have the juice of 1 lemon, and I'm going to put that in here. We will stir our ingredients. Let's just stir everything up, and then I'm going to put my fire on a medium heat, and this will cook for at least 30 minutes. It'll get thick, nice and thick, and then we will have our filling for our cake. So this is part 1. The cake is in the oven. It will bake for a good 25 to 30 minutes. I'll let it cool. And then when you come back, I will show you how to make some delicious, yummy buttercream icing. We'll ice our cake, fill it with the strawberry filling, and may even have a slice right here So if there's anything that you would like to see me prepare here live in my kitchen, make sure you write it in the comment section below. And now you can see how easy it is to prepare a delicious, yummy cake. And I can tell you that this cake is going to taste delicious. I make this cake all the time. It's one of those easy go-to cakes. So let's go over the ingredients real quick again. We want to make sure that you have your oil. So we're going to use a half a cup of oil, a half a cup of salted butter, and we'll use 1.5 to 1 3/4 cup of sugar, your preference. You will cream those together. Stuffed mushrooms, oh, that would be good too. I have to do that, Emily. You're going to cream that together. Then what you'll do is beat 5 egg whites on the side. So you need 5 egg whites. Don't throw the yolks away. Make sure you freeze your yolks. Hi, Walda. Thanks for joining. So we've got our oil, our butter, and our sugar. You have 5 egg whites, and then you'll also need to have 1 cup of buttermilk, 1 teaspoon of baking soda. You're going to mix your baking soda and your buttermilk together, and it's going to just almost explode in your cup. You pour that into your sugar, your oil, and your butter that you've creamed together, and then you'll have 2 1/4 cups of cake flour that you've sifted. If you don't have cake flour, use all-purpose, but sift it maybe 2 or 3 times. Put your cake flour, put your buttermilk all in that bowl, and then you take a spoon and you just mix it all together. After you mix it all together, you're going to take your egg whites that you fluffed up and fold it into your batter. And it sounds complicated, but watch the replay. It's really, really easy. Having all of your ingredients when you do this is going to make it so delicious and just perfect. Don't forget to add your vanilla, a teaspoon to 1.5 teaspoons or 2 of vanilla. Your preference. I use the zest of 1 whole lemon. You don't have to use the zest of 1 whole lemon, but I like the fresh taste that the zest gives to the lemon. Hi, James. Thanks for joining. If you watch the replay, hi, Leisha. Thanks for joining. You'll see exactly how I made that cake. It's in the oven. It'll bake for 25 to 30 minutes. We'll come back. I'll show you how to make some delicious buttercream icing. We'll ice that cake and put that strawberry filling in the middle and have a slice. So you don't want to miss that. Remember to share the broadcast. Tell everybody to come and see what Lisa Marie is cooking live here in her kitchen. And if you want to make a delicious cake to share with your friends and your family for the 4th of July, or even on a Sunday dinner, and it doesn't even have to be then. It could be a birthday. It could be any type of celebration, or it could just be your treat. I love to treat myself to some delicious cake. Anyway, come on back. I say give me about an hour. So maybe about 3 o'clock, my cake will be baked, cooled, and we'll be ready to get started on our other portions of the cake. Icing, making the icing and the filling, putting that filling in. If you have any questions, get them together, ask me next time, or you can put your questions in the comments below. And I have some time, I'll answer your questions. Strawberries. Yes, I'll be using strawberries, Emily. Yes. So I appreciate you all coming on to join the broadcast. Again, I am Lisa Marie, cooking live here in my kitchen. Sounds delicious. It's going to be so delicious, Walda. Wish you was here, girl. Have you a slice. But don't get intimidated by making cakes from scratch. They're easy and they're delicious. It sets you apart from everybody else. Bring a cake and share it. Thank you so much for joining the broadcast, and remember to always keep God first. Bye.